we're switching over to the Japanese-only Guilty Gear X Plus, which does add story content that wasn't in the other versions. There's also Guilty Gear X 1.5, I think, which is mostly just a balancing thing. I don't even think it has extra story stuff. I think it also has the same intro, if I'm not mistaken, but I actually don't remember. BRB, okay. So yeah, luckily, even though this will be in Japanese, there are plenty of fan translations online, so we will be able to understand it. The other thing I'm kind of debating right now is how I want to go about this, because you technically have to do the story mode 3 times, but we could definitely, shall we say, circumvent that with the way I'm currently playing it, so we might be able to skip through some of it. But yeah, this is Guilty Gear X Plus, released on the PS2. Actually, I think it came out in Japan before X came out in the US on PS2. So basically, they were a whole version behind. This version adds a bunch of cool stuff. I also need to get used to Circle now being confirmed and X being cancel. But they added a challenge mode where you can unlock various gallery images by doing these challenges. These are actually really hard, so unfortunately I will not be able to show this off particularly well. And definitely use save stating to get through some of them in order to actually unlock some other things to show off. So another thing to go over is in options we also have this option for GG mode, which basically I think allows you different movesets for certain characters, altered movesets. But also, luckily, we have actual hotkeys now, so we can actually map dust to the proper button, and also we can map roaming cancel to a button. But unfortunately, I probably will not be using roaming cancels anyway, just because I find them very, very inconvenient in this game. There's also a password system. I'm pretty sure the passwords were given from, as it says, Guilty Gear Petite 2, which was a, I can't remember, I think it's Wonder Swan, right? Or is it Wonder Swan or Neo Geo Pocket? I think it's Wonder Swan. But yeah, you can get codes in this game that'll work in this game and allow you to unlock certain characters early. You can also unlock bonus challenges. So if we go back to the challenge menu, you'll notice that there are extra challenges at the end rated, these are endings, basically with the difficulty of Petite, and these are bonuses by linking the games through these codes. Unfortunately, Dizzy is not playable in the Petite games. I would love to show them off at some point, just because they're really interesting. They kind of have the same energy as a lot of the handheld games that both Capcom and SNK were doing with chibi art styles. But for this, we're just going to jump straight into the story mode. And again, I do have everything written out. The Guilty Gear Wiki, and you can also find a translation on game FAQs and stuff like that. So we'll just jump in. So assuming this translation is correct, this should say something like an abominable, abandoned child, this descendant of man and demon, an impossible being. Her name is Dizzy, the strongest gear on Earth, who possesses a heart. A strength that can rend the earth, burn the heavens, and destroy humans. While holding a strength the powers of the world seek for, what she seeks is just some contact. That feels like a very rough translation, but that's what I'm working with. So our first fight is against Testament. Please let me go, is what she's saying there. Before you use the world you threw away, a world stained with blood and hate. Again, I feel like this is a very literal translation in some ways. I'm sorry, even so I want to see it is Dizzy's next line, but I think it hasn't actually scrolled off, so that's this one. I can actually see Gomen in the top line. I'm sorry, even so I want to see it. You are too kind. When you meet the fools out there, it is you who will hurt. Or will be hurt. Even so, I want to go. Then show me how willing you are to go through with it. So basically, Testament is trying to test if Dizzy is strong enough to go out on her own. It'd be really short story mode if she wasn't. And obviously, we already have a problem with what we already talked about previously, but we'll go into more detail later. So now I can actually use dusts more effectively because I can actually just press R like I normally would. Again, having grown up with like Accent Core, I'm really more used to that than like the weird setup they have where you have to press heavy slash and slash together. Testament wants to test your ment, basically, because they're basically her protector. So yeah, overall this is a pretty easy fight. This is the first fight after all, and also I am playing on beginner still. I think story mode difficulty does transfer, so luckily this isn't too bad. So yeah, that was very short. So next up we should have Potemkin. Hello, are you a soldier? By the orders of Zep, I must take you. Zep is like a country, I think. Again, I'm really behind on the lore, clearly. That's somewhat of a problem. I'm sorry, it's an order from my commander. You won't be hurt. It's dangerous. So basically, like, everyone is trying to capture her at this point because she's the most powerful gear now that Justice is gone. But the problem is, it's this case of like, oh, I promise I won't hurt you, and Dizzy's like, I don't think that's the problem here. It's the other way around. Potemkin is also a really interesting matchup. I don't really like fighting Potemkin, mostly because I don't really like fighting grapplers in any game, just because they deal so much damage. Zep is indeed a country. Okay. And hello, welcome. Oh, that's bad. Ow. So yeah, that's a third of our life gone. Because that's just how Potemkin kind of rolls. Recently in Strive, they actually buffed his damage, which I know caused a lot of stir, because it's like, why did they need to increase his damage for like Heavenly Potemkin Buster and stuff like that? Ow, that hurt. Alright, so far so good. Next is Kai. Are you also someone out to get me? I'm afraid it will end up that way. Is there no freedom for me? Those who cannot fight do not have freedom. Right now, your very existence is a threat. But I didn't want this power in the first place. So yeah, basically Dizzy and Kai's first meeting is completely retconned going forward. So yeah, that's worth keeping in mind for an upcoming thing later on. Alright, so I don't think we fought Kai in the arcade mode, so this will be interesting. Interestingly, I used to play Kai a bit more in the first game, partly because I don't really have a main in Guilty Gear 1, and then, you know, obviously, you know, in later games I do have plenty of choices. But yeah, in the first game, Kai is just the easiest character to pick up. I don't like charge characters. If you're wondering why I don't play Mei, is I literally can't do a charge input. Though again, maybe it's because I use a PS controller for a lot of these games. And, you know, I started on PS3, which, yeah, trying doing a charge input on that console, it probably wouldn't go well. So next is Zato! I found you, Parasite. Who are you? The same as you, a fighting machine with a heart. So this is specifically Eddie talking. How pitiful, the same as me. You've been enduring loneliness too, haven't you? You know? You know, then give me that body, I want to see your heart. That's just like, Kya! I don't know if I can do that sound very well. I need to voice train. I really do. I've been putting it off too long. Definitely lacking motivation for that, but streaming is supposed to help with that. But even then, I feel like I'm not doing the best job, mostly just because I keep slacking on it. Also, with like reading out this dialogue, I'm realizing I'm just kind of reading it. I'm not like trying to, play it up or anything, get in character or anything like that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing per se, but it's just, an observation. I also need to remember how I have things set up, for something else. If I screw this up, it's fine, but we'll have to go through all these fights over again, basically, which isn't a problem. We're not even at an hour in the stream, so we could just do this legit, but just to save ourselves a little bit of time and headache in a moment, I think I will do something that is not right. There we go. I hope that works. Next is Faust. Enough! Everyone wants to catch me, and then I end up hurting them, because I have this power. This is a long text box, actually. Raise your head, young lady. You've come to take me too. How terrible. Innocence closed off in sadness and fear. I hate to presume, but allow me to heal you. So this is the first branching path. We also get art for this, so it's kind of a special encounter, actually. Yeah, this is our first branch. There are 3 major branches. Unfortunately, the last one's in the final fight, so it'll be a bit until we get to that point. But we will go for essentially the bad ending first. We also get a little fancy opening. Faust starts actually at lowered health, and if I'm not mistaken, Dizzy is actually powered up in this fight. So if we dash forward, you'll notice she's really fast and hits really hard, meaning this fight's actually very easy. So yeah, we'll be able to win this no problem, but there is actually a problem with how easily we're actually getting through this fight, which we'll see shortly. There we go. Piece of cake. No problem. What have I done? You just missed Faust getting obliterated. So you come too, good. I'm sorry. To follow while pursuing medicine was this body's fate. Please don't be concerned. Mr. Doctor, please don't die. Listen, humans may be foolish, but will not do to despair. One day your day will come. Mr. Doctor, this world has no place for me, but I won't despair anymore. I will sleep until the day comes when someone can accept me, no matter how long it takes. I will never forget you. So yeah, in this bad ending, Faust dies, and Dizzy basically seals herself away because of her powers. So she basically seals herself away until she can be accepted. So yeah, this is kind of a bummer ending, actually, but we do get special artwork for it. This does count as ending 1, apparently, which is kind of interesting because it's like non-canon. Clearly, because, Faust is in all the other games. Therefore, this, again, is very much a non-canon ending, for obvious reasons. But yeah, that's just the first of multiple endings in this particular game, and again, we will resume to try to get the other endings too, because obviously it's a bit of a downer, to be blunt. So yeah, we're back at this fight now. Let's hope this goes better this time for Faust. To actually move on to the other endings, what we have to do is deliberately lose this fight. Which makes sense, since Faust is trying to help us in a way that we essentially have to let him knock us out of this, like, powered-up state, essentially. This is also one of Disney's, like, specials. Imperial Gamma Ray, I'm pretty sure is the name of it. Very, very complicated input. It's like, yeah, the back, forward, back, quarter circle forward one. So yeah, we just kind of have to chill now and let Faust win this fight. Like so. It's very interesting, actually, in the story modes of these games that you often have to lose fights on purpose in order to actually proceed. And again, trying to actually get through this, like, first time would probably be really confusing, like, trying to figure out where to actually, like, lose and everything. And, like, Guilty Gear X2 has some really annoying stuff in that regard, too, where it's, like, basically, you have to, like, win fights in such specific ways, or lose fights in such specific ways, and, like, how are you supposed to know this without, like, looking up a guide? So yeah, we're back on track for the main story. What? I was... Good, have you come too? I'm sorry. You've been lost, haven't you? Searching for somewhere to be. Just because I'm here, just because I'm alive, it seems a lot of people are troubled. No need to worry, as long as your heart is free, the path will open to you. And then 3 days later, is what that says. Well, I was told to come here, but where is this? Yeah, watch out! Eh? From the sky? Ow, ow. So yeah, we have to fight Mei now. She is our next opponent. I actually find Mei a really difficult character to fight as well, just because dolphins. When I tried going through this off screen, I definitely had trouble with, like, just getting spammed by dolphins constantly. So we'll see how this goes here. Again, we're playing on beginner, so it shouldn't be too bad. Again, mostly just wanted to show off the story content because, again, this is, like, fairly obscure, and I actually really find, like, I like showing off, or I like to show off, like, more obscure, like, gaming stuff like this going forward. Again, I kind of don't entirely know what kind of niche to have my channel in, to be honest. I don't know if that makes sense. But it's just kind of, like, been interesting to just kind of decide how to approach things for the channel. Again, this is definitely a little bit outside my wheelhouse for streaming, since I've mostly played, like, other types of games. This is the first fighting game I would have played, and definitely a non-conventional first one. So like before, we're gonna do a thing right here, because this is the next branching path, and to save ourselves a little bit of time. Are you sure you only feel hurt? Yeah, I was just a little surprised, but it's my fault anyway. You're dizzy, right? Johnny's waiting for you. Just be you and do what you want? Yeah, that's kind of my feeling, but I also would like to, you know, mix it up occasionally with what I play. I'm allowed to, wait, which part is that? You're Sky Pirates. Yo, looks like May found you alright. Welcome to the Jellyfish Pirates. I'm allowed to stay here? Trying to read all this dialogue out is very difficult, actually. To this Johnny, there is no no to a pretty lady, is what I'd like to say, but let us test your skill. Partly just because I'm mildly dyslexic, so I'm having trouble remembering what line I'm supposed to read. That's dangerous, please don't come any closer. If you don't lose yourself in battle, you pass. Try winning without killing me. Oh, what a good challenge. This is a well thought out plan, Johnny. Nothing can go wrong here, totally. So we're actually gonna go out of order. We're gonna go for ending 3 before ending 2, just because it's also kind of an odd ending. So this ending is really weird. If I'm not mistaken, we have to win with the timer as a multiple of 11. So this is gonna be complicated. Part of the reason I want to go for it first is because if I botch it, then we have another chance. But again, I would like to show this ending first, just because, again, it's a little bit more of a downer ending compared to ending 1. I don't think we'll barely miss 77, so we just have to chip him out until, like, 66, apparently. So yeah, really weird condition here. Dang, just a moment too soon, or too late. I didn't think it would be a grab. So we got ending 2. Phew, okay, you pass. That was dangerous, since everything was so serious. Hey, this Johnny will put his life on the line for a lady. You're a kind girl. You've just had some bad luck with men up to this point. So once again, welcome to the Jellyfish Pirates. That is an interesting way to put it. And again, I wonder how much that's just a translation quirk of this, like, again, this, like, game FAQs post of, like, translating all the stories. Yes, thank you very much. Now everybody, preparations for the welcome party! So yeah, she's part of the group now. Again, kind of the same ending as in the arcade mode normally, but just kind of more fleshed out. Yeah, Johnny's a very interesting character. I will say right now, his story is kind of... I don't want to say... maybe stagnating is the right word, just because, like, the situation with him and May, because, like, May likes him, but he doesn't really reciprocate. That just kind of feels like it's dragging on until the end of time in a way that's like, it hasn't progressed story-wise in a very long time, and people are hoping that Strive would, considering how many other characters had, like, growth arcs, but Johnny kinda didn't. So yeah, this might take a few attempts, just because the time window is so strict for trying to actually win this fight, and get ending 3. Again, I didn't actually mean to go in order. I definitely wanted to get ending, 3 first. This might take a couple of tries, actually. It did on my practice attempts, just because of just the, like, nuance of timing this out. Also, Dizzy's moves have, like, the weirdest names, and they constantly get renamed, too. So I have no clue what to call these moves beyond, like, input names. And, with Soul, there's plenty of, like, actual terminology. With Dizzy, it's like, the terminology is so weird, I can't, like, begin to, like, actually spell it out. Or we can just die in this fight, that works too. I mean, that's okay, I think I'll just put us back at this fight. That's not like a fail state or anything. So we'll give it another go here. Again, really weird win condition, and I don't even think this is the weirdest win condition that we'll be running into, unfortunately. I'm really worried about an ending in X2 that's, like, really esoteric to try to unlock. This also went way faster than I thought, partly because I'm not, like, doing the entire story modes over and over again for reasons. For X2 we will have to, just because I have that on Steam, meaning I can't, like, save state like we are now. Unfortunately, so this will take a little bit longer to get through. Alright. There we go. That should be good for ending 3. Again, it's really hard to time that, actually. We're also getting the sad music again. And then 100 years passed. Johnny, the reason I am here now is thanks to you. You're always cheerful and playful, and even so you're always fighting to protect something important. Now I have something to protect as well. Please watch over us today. So, like, this ending's weird because of the time skip, but, like, is the implication that Johnny also dies in this ending? And then, like, Dizzy's still part of the group for some reason? This is really a confusing ending, and it's partly I just think the script is a little bit, unclear over how this works. That same day, this says subordinate, rising to 6,000 meters. Jellyfish pirates, after me. So yeah, she's leading the jellyfish pirates now. All forces in formation. What about the other group? Third Holy Order now deploying. ZEP Airborne Divisions number 1 through 5 have arrived. Okay. Will that person not come? Unidentified high-energy source coming from port. Communication coming in. Idiot thinking of starting the battle without everybody here. Frederick. So I guess it's Soul leading the other forces. I've also completely lost track of where this dialogue is at. High energy source is an ally, make way. Understood, giving recognition code. Recognition code Sun. Chani, please watch over us. All forces attack. Our target is the enemy forces axis. So yeah, I read a bit ahead there. I lost track of where it was supposed to be. Basically all the dialogue boxes to the side are the other jellyfish pirates, and then the ones in the center are for Dizzy. Dizzy is supposed to be December, actually. Her canonical birthday is December 25th, and there is no jellyfish pirate for December. So it's sort of an indirect thing. But yeah, she is supposed to represent December. So yeah, obviously this ending isn't canon because there's a time skip and she's still with the Jellyfish Pirates. So, at the end of the day, the fascinating thing about Guilty Gear X Plus is, despite it being the first major game to have a story mode outside of the arcade, none of these endings are canon, for Dizzy at least, because none of them line up with what we know going forward in the series. If you want to know the canon interpretation, the official website for Guilty Gear Strive does have is Dizzy a moth? She has the wings. But yeah, on the official website for Guilty Gear, there are comics that basically detail what is considered the canon interpretation of X's story, which is basically, yeah, Kai and Soul, or Soul ends up trying to fight Dizzy, Kai intervenes, also Soul spares her. Kai helps relocate her to the Jellyfish Pirates, and Jam also accepts the bounty and opens a restaurant, if I'm not mistaken. So that is my understanding of the canonical tale of the events, meaning Guilty Gear X is weird because besides the arcade mode, which there isn't any direct story in, the actual story mode is just sort of like a generalized telling of certain events that don't necessarily line up with what is now considered canon. So a lot of things have been retconned out of this. So the irony of showing the X games is this kind of doesn't matter for anything current in the story. So it's kind of ironic going through this just because I wanted to show it off. But yeah, none of these story modes actually like matter in terms of like canon. So that was fun. I actually do have one more surprise lined up